Alexander the Great was one of the most famous military leaders in history. He was born in 356 BC in Macedonia, a kingdom in northern Greece. His father was King Philip II, who united most of the Greek city-states. His mother was Olympias, a princess from Epirus. Alexander was highly educated. He was taught by the famous philosopher Aristotle, who helped shape his thinking in science, philosophy, and politics. At the age of 20, after the death of his father, Alexander became king of Macedonia. He quickly proved himself to be a brilliant and bold leader. In just over 10 years, he built one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. Alexander won 3 major battles that led to Persia's downfall. The Battle of Granicus took place in May 334 BC and was the first major battle in Alexander the Great's campaign to conquer the Persian Empire. After crossing the Hellespont into Asia Minor, Alexander quickly encountered the Persian army at the Granicus River. Forces of both sides. The Macedonian army had about 35,000 soldiers, including phalanx infantry, companion cavalry, light infantry, and Greek mercenaries. The Persian army had around 40,000 soldiers, including Persian cavalry, light infantry, and about 10,000 Greek mercenaries led by Memnon of Rhodes. The Persian army took up a defensive position on the far side of the Granicus River, holding higher ground. They hoped Alexander would attack directly across the river, making it easier for them to counter him. Although his generals, especially Parmenion, advised him to wait until the next morning, Alexander decided to attack immediately to catch the enemy by surprise. He personally led the companion cavalry and launched a frontal assault on the Persian right wing, where their cavalry was concentrated. The battle became chaotic as the Macedonian troops crossed the river in disorganized formations and were heavily attacked by the Persian cavalry. At one point, Alexander was attacked from behind by the Persian general Mithridates and almost lost his life. However, his bodyguard Clytus the Black saved him just in time by cutting off Mithridates' arm. Meanwhile, the Macedonian phalanx successfully crossed the river, formed a solid line, and began pushing back the Persian infantry. After the Persian cavalry was defeated, the Macedonian army attacked the Greek mercenaries, who were considered the strongest troops on the Persian side. Alexander ordered his men not to spare them, believing they had betrayed Greece. Almost all of the mercenaries were killed. A few were taken prisoner and later sent to Macedonia as slaves. Outcome of the battle: complete victory for Alexander. Almost all Persian commanders were killed. Alexander quickly took control of coastal cities in Asia Minor. This victory strengthened his reputation and gained the full trust of his army. It also paved the way for future major victories, such as at Issus and Gaugamela. This victory marked the successful beginning of Alexander's campaign to conquer Persia. The battle showed both his daring nature and strategic thinking. It also served as a clear warning to the Persian Empire that a serious threat had arrived. After his victory at Granicus, Alexander advanced deeper into Persian territory. The Persian king, Darius III, personally led a large army, estimated at 100,000 to 150,000 soldiers, to face Alexander. Alexander had only about 40,000 to 50,000 troops, but his army was highly trained, disciplined, and well organized. The battle took place near the city of Issus, located between the Amanus Mountains and the Mediterranean Sea. Although Darius had a much larger army, he was trapped in a narrow area, which made it difficult to use his full strength. This limited his advantage in numbers. Darius suddenly moved his army around to attack from behind, taking a position at Issus and cutting off Alexander's supply lines. Alexander quickly turned his army around and rushed north to face Darius at the Pinarus River near Issus. Alexander attacked from the right wing, leading the companion cavalry across the Pinarus River and striking hard at the left side of the Persian army. The Macedonian forces pushed forward and broke through the front lines, causing confusion among the Persian troops. In the center, Alexander's phalanx infantry met strong resistance from the Greek mercenaries fighting for Persia. The fighting was intense and caused many casualties. However, after Alexander's right wing gained the upper hand, they turned to support the center, helping to break the enemy lines. When Darius saw the battle turning against him and his troops starting to collapse, he panicked and fled the battlefield in his chariot. Seeing their king run away, the Persian soldiers also lost morale. and chaos spread through their ranks. The Macedonian army chased them fiercely. The Persian army was completely defeated with tens of thousands killed or captured. Darius escaped, but he left behind his royal family, his mother, wife, and 2 children, who were captured. Alexander treated them with great respect and kindness, which earned him even more admiration. Although outnumbered, the Macedonian army won a great victory. This success allowed Alexander to take control of Syria and Phoenicia, and later continue his campaign into Egypt. It also prepared him for the decisive battle at Gaugamela in 331 BC. The Battle of Gaugamela, which took place in 331 BC, was the most important fight between Alexander and Darius III. Even though Alexander had only about 47,000 soldiers, much fewer than Darius's 122,000, he won the battle by using smart tactics and well-trained troops. Alexander's army had 12,000 Macedonian phalanx soldiers, who were strong foot soldiers with long spears. There were also 1,800 companion cavalry, who were elite horsemen. In addition, there were 1,800 Thessalian cavalry, 9,000 light infantry and archers, and 7,000 Greek mercenaries. Darius's army had 40,000 to 50,000 cavalry, 10,000 to 15,000 Greek mercenaries, over 50,000 infantry, 200 to 300 chariots with blades, and about 15 Indian elephants. The plans of both sides. Darius placed his soldiers in a long line to try to surround the Macedonians. He stood in the middle, with chariots and cavalry on both sides. Alexander knew he could not win in a direct fight, so he came up with a trick. He planned to pull the Persian cavalry away from the center and then attack the weak spot. He put his phalanx in the middle, gave control of the left side to General Parmenion, and led the companion cavalry on the right himself. When the battle started, Alexander moved his right wing to the side, making it look like he was retreating. Mazaeus, a Persian general, believed this and sent his cavalry to chase Alexander's men. This left a gap in the center of the Persian line. Alexander quickly led his cavalry through the gap and attacked straight toward Darius in the middle. At the same time, the phalanx pushed forward and crushed the Persian foot soldiers. Even though Parmenion's side was under heavy attack, they held their position until Alexander returned to help. Seeing his army fall apart and his life in danger, Darius ran away. This made his soldiers lose all hope, and without their leader, the Persian army broke apart. Some were chased and killed, others gave up or were captured. Darius escaped but was later killed by his own men. Result of the battle, Alexander won a huge victory. He took control of all Mesopotamia and later entered Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis. The Persian Empire was basically destroyed. The Battle of Gaugamela was not just a great military victory, but also showed how smart and skilled Alexander was as a commander. It helped bring the Persian Empire to an end and started a new period of Greek influence in the East.